This is Stephen Holden of the New York Times. I've been covering the Tribeca Film Festival since its opening. Now it's in its 9th year, and it is still an unusual festival that combines a kind of circus-y quality with a very serious filmmaking agenda. If there's a trend this year, it is that more and more movies are hybrids of documentaries and feature films, so that if you didn't know in advance you were watching a feature film, you might think it was a documentary. This year, my favorite movie that I saw, there may be a couple of others that I didn't, is a documentary by Alex Gibney, who did Taxi to the Dark Side. This one is a screen adaptation of Lawrence Wright's one-man play, My Trip to Al-Qaeda. Lawrence Wright was the author of The Looming Tower, a really great book about the roots of terrorism in the Middle East. And it's a brilliant, brilliant movie. Besides Alex Gibney, there are other directors who have major work in the festival. Jean-Pierre Junot, famous for Amélie and for Delicatessen, who's a genre unto himself. Micmacs, his new entry, is high comedy, surreal high comedy with wonderful gadgets in it and a kind of David and Goliath contest between a bunch of ragtag junk dealers and a weapons manufacturer. Michael Winterbottom has The Killer Inside Me, a very violent remake of a very violent movie. Fatih Akin, the critically adored director of Head On and Edge of Heaven, has a movie of comedy called Soul Kitchen, which is quite amusing, about restaurants and fraternal farce in Hamburg, Germany. I liked 2 documentaries, one about Joan Rivers and one about Vidal Sassoon. The Joan Rivers documentary really gets you behind the scenes and sees how much work it takes to be Joan Rivers and how driven she is. The Vidal Sassoon movie left me with a respect for hairdressers that I've never had before, because it really he reinvented hairdressing as a kind of architecture. The White Meadows is the most poetic film in the narrative competition. It is allegorical. It's about a man who rows around from island to island collecting people's tears in a jar. You can see it as pure poetry. It's quite beautiful. I particularly liked Dog Pound, a really harrowing film about a youth correctional center in Montana. It looks like a documentary, it seems like a documentary, but it's a fictional film. The equivalent of Dog Pound in the documentary category is a movie that you would think was Sons of Perdition, it's called. You would think it was a fictional film because it's almost exactly like the HBO series Big Love. It's about the runaway teenagers from a fundamentalist Mormon sect in Colorado City, Arizona. As a community development project, Tribeca Film Festival has certainly proved its value. I'm a fan of the Tribeca Festival. For all its up and down, hot and cold, good and bad entries, it's filling a very valuable purpose, and it's very good for New York. For the New York Times, this is Stephen Holden.